Hello and welcome back. Another video. In this video, we will be making an excavator with the create physics stuff. And I've seen two other videos attempt at making a good one. And so I want to try myself. I think it's a nice challenge considering I've figured out how to make cars now. It shouldn't be too difficult to make an excavator, I think. Now, I tried to look at some schematics and stuff to get like proper dimensions, but I couldn't really find any. So we're gonna have to just go off of just pictures and stuff, which I guess is fine. It just means I won't have proper measurements, so it won't be as realistic. And also the digging wouldn't be working too well because, well, it's Minecraft and it doesn't really, physics don't really work that great with the physics stuff and just the game in general. So we're going to be using these tracks. I haven't played around with them, so that's something new. It'd be fun to mess around with. And that comes from the track work mod. Oh yeah, and another thing. The excavator is in like 3 separate parts. Well, I guess 4 technically, but 3 main parts. You have the actual cabin and stuff, where well like the engine is and the actual tracks and stuff. Then you have one arm, and then you have the other arm which has the bucket on it or whatever. So technically 4 parts, but 3 main ones. And from the pictures that I looked at, they seem to be pretty much equal length, which is good because that means if we get the length of one of them, for example this long, we just make 2 sections with the same length. So I think that's works pretty well for us. So let me get a base going and then we can start getting the mechanical parts of it in. So I've done a little something. This probably will change. Here's our tracks. This is kind of what it's like. It has this little like bottom section here, and this is where it will rotate from. Now I don't know if we should get the rotation going down or if the rotation coming up. And the way we do that is where we'd have the engine back here and we'd transmit rotation through that, or we can just use like a mechanical bearing. But yeah, from the pictures that I saw as well, this the tracks go out a little bit to the front and the actual main body comes out to the back a little bit, and then we'd have the things here in the front. But yeah, so I guess I could work on that. Probably will make this a little longer. We have more space to do our engine stuff back here, because we will be using these to transmit the rotation to the actual arms with some sequenced gear shifts probably, or maybe not, maybe some clutches and gear shifts in that. I think that makes the most sense. But yeah, so I need to actually get this whole bottom bit figured out here because we need to get power down into these wheels somehow. And I also want to make this top rotate like it does in real life. So yeah, I need to, I guess, make a bit of an engine and keep thinking of how this is going to work. Yeah, I tried to kind of figure out how the tracks are going to go, but I think first off, I'm going to try getting the engine and all that in and the actual mechanism here before we do the tracks, because I feel like that's going to be probably a bit more difficult to do. So we're probably just going to go with the regular gasoline engine that we went with again. So we'll get maybe engine like this, get our fluid into there. We can get this into an exhaust. Actually, I kind of don't want to have it like that because if we have a speed controller, it might be a little bit difficult to hide it. We do something like this, we have more space here for the actual controls of this. We'll need 2 to control those, at least. Right, it's a little messy, but this should in theory work. Now that's only for getting rotation for these arms that will go here. We also still need the rotation for the wheels, so we need to fit that into somewhere. Could honestly probably just stick one on top of here like that. The way we're gonna be doing this is, I think I want to use a mechanical bearing. Now there's these fizz bearings, which probably achieve the same thing as these, but I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. But if we add these interact me stickers on it, then this should work technically. So if we did something like this would link to one of these. We would use boards here to make it a little, less thick. We do something like that to just connect them. So now we just simulate some power going in. And now we have a physics entity here. We can control with this, which you would control with our transmitter that'd be here. Technically, this one doesn't need to have one of these. We can just have a shaft coming out here somewhere. We probably could do that. It's somewhere like up here. We'd have another transmitter and another bearing. We did something like this. We can then control this one, and both of these have their own separate controls like that. Then we'd have a small one for the bucket or whatever we make on the end of this thing. So yeah, now we have to actually make this work. Alright, so I've got some basic controls in now. We can use T and Y to move this one here, and U and I to move this one up here, which is cool. We've also got this lever here connected over to this, so the engine can run. So now I actually need to get the tracks working now, and I think we'll leave the actual excavator, digger, whatever it's called, for the end of it. And we will actually also make this look nice after that as well, like the car. But yeah, you have to make it functional first, and I think this is a great start. A lot of progress has been made. I have two variants here. This is the original one, and I didn't know how to make it rotate like the bottom bit, so kind of just did this instead. I mean, it works, just didn't have the rotating bit. And I tried using these physics bearings because then these poles, or whatever you want to call them, actually obey physics. But the problem was they kind of drooped down after a while. Not after a while, just like straight away. They started going down, and they kind of need to be solid. So then you could use we could use like these copycat blocks because they have a massive 10 kilograms because of a data pack. But the problem with that is that it still drooped down anyway. And I couldn't find any config to make them stronger or anything, so yeah, they didn't really work. But here's like the whole engine and everything. But then I actually tried again, and this time I have a physics bearing underneath here, which this whole platform appears on, and that lets this whole top bit rotate like it's supposed to. And then these, of course, still work on their own. It's a bit slow, I might have to speed it up, but yeah. These work, these just use the mechanical bearings, which unfortunately they don't, obey physics. But not much I can do about that. And I've also made all of the bottom bit here copycat boards because those don't have collisions. And that just means they don't collide with the collisions of these tracks, which actually lets it rotate like this. So before I make this actually look nice and everything, I want to get the drill part up here in the front. Okay, I've kind of change this out a little bit here, so now we can control this as well. So we can do something like this, then we can turn this on. So it doesn't work too great because it's Minecraft. Not much I can really do about that, but yeah, it's working. So I guess it's all the functional parts of this finished, and yeah, all I have left is actually making it, I guess, look nice. That's pretty much the decorating finished, I think. There's, very limited detail I can actually do, but I think it works. I mean, it looks like one. I tried to copy the actual hydraulics and stuff, it doesn't look quite right, but not exactly much I can do about that. We can maybe just add a little something here. Yeah, I already think that helped. But yeah, so that's pretty much it finished. I've also tweaked the engine a little bit. Oh, I should actually add a little bit of a ladder here. Basically, I managed to slow all of these moving parts down, which is great because I think that's more realistic. But the speed of this is controlled by something else. So I could probably just open this up just to show. I have two speed controllers in here. This is the main one. This one goes up to, I think, 128 or 64 or something like that. Probably 64. Then, goes across here. Because it's spinning this one, it still goes across, so all of this still goes at the right speed. And the driving transmitter is back there, but then this one here turns it down into 1 RPM, which is used in these engaged chain drives. And back here, as you can see, it's moving really slow, which just means I can control the speed of the arms and stuff separate from the steering, which is great because that means I think we can make more realistic movement that way. So I guess let's actually take this for a test drive here. I should be able to just click on this. Let's actually go into third person first, so we can drive around. Of course, when we turn, we don't go forward anymore, but so we can drive freely like so. We can move the cabin itself to a different position. We can, of course, still drive like this, and then we can do some fine tuning with this. Then let's actually turn on the drills. You can already see they were working. You know, of course, it won't work perfectly, but it works as well as we can get in this game. So we can move this up, and of course, when we're done, we can just flip this, and that's going to turn off the drills. We can press on this. I should turn off the engine. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It works. It looks cool. I think it works pretty realistically. I mean, as well as it's gonna get inside of Minecraft with mods and stuff. But yeah, so that's gonna be it, I suppose. There's nothing else to do with this vehicle. It works. It drives. It drills. What else would you want from this? I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I haven't really asked for that at all. And see you in the next one. Bye.